Alrighty, Ecamm Fam, what's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Marshall Creates with Ecamm. How you guys doing? Looks like we got 11 viewers on here. 12 are creeping up. Please share this with your network on Facebook, LinkedIn. Hello to you. Happy Thursday. Or if you're on a replay gang, or if you're in Australia, is it Friday yet in Australia? I don't know. But a happy Thursday, happy Friday, or happy whatever day it is that you're watching this. Um, Another episode of Marshall Creates with Ecamm. Mr. Moderator, the Paul Duncan. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Move this up a bit. Mr. Camera Junkie, it's good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Yes. So we got an exciting one today, y'all. We're gonna be talking about reels. So let's see. Yes. So we're gonna be talking about reels, and when I say reels, I essentially mean vertical video, right? You know, vertical video is all the rage right now, especially on Instagram. It seems like they've pretty much, yeah, I don't want to say gotten rid of photos, but they're definitely putting more emphasis on reels and video, especially vertical video, as opposed to photos. It's crazy because Instagram started out as a photo sharing app, right? And it was beloved by photographers. It still is, but I noticed that they're not really giving those beautiful photos as much play. At least the algorithm isn't, right? They're not really giving those photos as much play as they used to. Now it's all about the reels. It's all about the reels, y'all. Um, so yes, thank you, Mr. Moderator. If you have a question for me, please drop a Q with a colon, okay? Please format it like that so it'll make it easy for me to see it. Eden, it's great to see you. Excited for the show, and I'm gonna keep it really simple. Okay, I'm gonna show you. I'll be real. Before I say that, I'm gonna show you a couple different ways from simple to a bit more advanced. All right. So depending on what your workflow looks like, I'm gonna show you a couple different ones, a couple different options, if you will. So, and I'll show you. I'll end with how I do mine. So, looks like we have 17 viewers on here so far. It's good to see you guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. All right, so let me just pull up my notes here. Boom. Okay. So I'm gonna give you a little, I don't want to say backstory, but just a little background about how I use it in particular. So you may be able to relate to this. All right. So what I do. So if you don't know, I'm a graphic designer by trade, and I recently kind of shifted into more training, content creation, and coaching specifically. So coaching other graphic designers. So if you're any kind of coach, or if you have regular Zoom meetings, so I do coaching sessions via Zoom, then you're going to love this because I like to repurpose snippets from those sessions for Instagram, right? For Instagram. So I mentioned it before in the Zoom tutorial that we dropped a couple weeks ago. It's always a good idea to record locally to your computer when you have these sessions, if you have the room, right? If you have the room on your computer, if you have the space, definitely record locally, because you just don't want that magic to be lost forever if the something happens with the Zoom recording, or if it's just not up to snuff, or if you were showing the wrong thing and you would have really liked to showcase yourself. Let's say you were waxing deep, like you're in the zone, you're feeling it, right? You're dropping some nuggets, some bombs on your coaching client or in a meeting. So then if you're sharing your screen at the same time, all you're going to get from Zoom is that little teeny little box in the corner. We love Zoom, right? So no disrespect to them, but that's where Ecamm comes in, where you can record locally at the same time, y'all. And I love that feature. You just say hello to some more folks. Dr. Omar, Haddad, it's good to see you, my brother. Victoria. Yes, you're right on time. We're just getting into it. We're just getting into it. So you haven't missed much. Gerard, let me know if I'm saying that right. Or Jared is really cool tool in Final Cut Pro for automatically creating vertical video from your landscape crop videos. You know what? You're right. I remember Diana Gladney discussing that. So yeah, if you know exactly what that is, um, definitely drop it so maybe we can cover it. I'm not prepared to discuss it because I've never done it. But yeah, there is a tool. I'm glad you mentioned that. Where, and I believe it's from a recent update where you can literally click a button and it will search each frame of your video to make sure that you're in frame. So as you adjust it from landscape to vertical, it'll automatically have you in the view of the vertical video. So that's a really cool feature. Spatial conform. Okay, bet. Let me take that note. So maybe we can look at it if we have some time to experiment. I'm definitely gonna look at that. It's funny because I like to have so much control over my stuff. I haven't really looked into that prior because I want to make sure, I just do the most. Y'all know how I am. Okay, let me see. Right click on your project, duplicate ads, and choose spatial conform. So this is from when you have a landscape video, right? Okay. So let's do duplicate ads, spatial conform. Cool, man. Yeah, that's cool. Alrighty. Been out since 2016. Oh, okay. Well, excuse me. Oh, okay. Okay, so the key, at least personally, I think the key is having a wide enough lens where it doesn't look crazy, where you're not, you're not in the video like this. Let me see. You're not in the video like this. You know what I'm saying? I think this is the key, having a wide enough lens where when you do go vertical, you're not all the way, zoomed in like that. So, let me flip back. I hope I didn't scare anybody. Yeah, so I think that is the key. At least for me, like you can see my lens is pretty wide here. And then I have this overlay on top of it. But as you can see, like I still have some room up here and some room on the room on the sides doesn't really matter. But typically when I'm in like a meeting, I have my framing like this. But if I know I want to repurpose, I'm going to try to repurpose a video, a clip from, let's say a session. Then what I'll do is I'll make sure it's out like this because I want to make sure when I crop it, they have enough on the top and bottom to work with it. And if you're on iPhone, we got the notch. We got the notch situation, right? So the video gets cropped in automatically when we add it to, let's say Instagram for Reels or YouTube for Shorts, TikTok. We already lose some of that real estate, so it's good to have extra buffer up there in the bottom as much as possible. So just keep that in mind as well. All right. So let me add my little frame back. This is the Stephanie scene. Y'all remember from last week? This is the Stephanie scene. Shout out to Stephanie Lou. So we're gonna get into it. So let's say you're coaching or like I have what I call feedback Fridays in my group. Right. So let me see if I have that prepared for a second. So my feedback, this is my feedback Friday frame or my scene. Okay, so let me switch my screen that I'm sharing really quickly to the tertiary display. Yep. So let me move my notes out the way and I'll add so I set this scene up intentionally because this is on the right hand side. It's 9:16, or the opposite of 16:9. So it's 1080 by 1920. So I know when I'm doing feedback Friday and I'm looking at people's work and giving them critiques or just sharing nuggets and things like that, answering questions on my Q&A. So typically I'll have, like, for example, I'll put this, it's here. Let's just go on Ecamm. We'll just go on Ecamm's Instagram, okay? So I usually have it in frame like this. Let's just, I have a Facebook group, but let's just pretend this is the Facebook group. I have my scene set up where on the right-hand side, when I hit record or when I go live, the recording gets recorded locally every time you go live with Ecamm Live. I know that I can go ahead and crop this, the right hand side out. And I think it ends up working out to be exactly 1080 by 1920, the way I have it set up here, because as you know, 4K video is like 3840 by 2160. So when I added in the 1080 by 1920 on the right hand side, and I created this overlay prior in my design software, so you could do the same thing in like your design software or Canva. It worked out to be exactly 1080 by 1920. So we're just missing a few pixels at the top and bottom, but all we need is 1080 by 1920. So that's one of the ways that I use it. So just recording this locally, or just hitting record on, well, let's just say like this, just hitting record inside of Ecamm while I'm in Zoom. So you just have to remember to do that, because it's easy to forget if you're not in a habit of doing that. It's easy to forget to hit record. So I'll show you really quickly. Live demo mode. So Doc says, were you ready for some grown folks FCP training? So FCP as in Final Cut Pro, for those who aren't familiar, holla at your boy. Yes, so yeah, we'll definitely do that. I'm a touch on Final Cut because I love Final Cut, but I'm still a newbie. But I'll sit in there and figure it out, y'all. Like, I have a vision for something. You know what? I can show you some reels as well that I already created. I have a vision for something there, and I'll sit there and figure it out. Like, I'll sit there, and however long it takes me, I'll figure out how to do it. That's what I love about Final Cut Pro. It's so powerful, but it's simple at the same time, where it's like, okay, sometimes you just got to sit there and use common sense. Or like, okay, like what tools are available in order to pull this off, whether it's a mask or some type of movement. So I'll show you a little bit of what I do in Final Cut, because that's what I use to create my reels. All right. Business growth ready says close up. I look angelic with the halo around, man. Hey, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Andy, it's good to see you again. Thanks, and welcome back. Welcome back. All right, so let me grab my notes again. So now you know how, like, what applications you would use it in. So if you're on Google Meets, Zoom, whatever, hit record. Just hit record inside of Ecamm on the Ecamm Pen, because you got to open it up anyway to use the virtual camera, right? So just hit record in there, and my recommendation would be to record in 4K. So if you aren't a pro member, you need to be a pro member. It's worth the investment just for this feature alone. If you didn't do anything else, to record right into your computer in 4K without having to record to a memory card, and then drop it in. And I know there's probably other stuff they can do it, but I love the way it's done in Ecamm because of, let me hop into live demo mode real quick. Because of this, y'all, the camera setting, the picture settings, and then you add in the LUT and all of that. I won't talk about that today, but you know my love for LUT. So when you're in here, it will say record, of course. Make sure it's on record only. When you're in Zoom, you don't want to mistakenly go live, on YouTube or Facebook or something like that while you're in a Zoom meeting, and at least without you knowing, right? So it'll say record here. Just hit record while you're in there. Okay. So let me see here. So one way you can do it, of course, is by hitting this rotate over here under camera effects. You can do it this way, just like we talked about. So this looks good, even though it's sideways, but you can tell my framing looks good, y'all. So this is real ready. Boom, hit record. You can hit record this way while you're in your Zoom meeting, and you're good to go. I mean, you could do it that way, but what I would recommend, it's a cool feature. Ecamm, we love you. Thank you for that. It's cool, but what I like having more control. So if I do want to do something or maybe I want to have move myself over a bit in the frame, and then maybe have some information on one side, even though it still will be 9:16, right? I just want to have a bit more control. So I won't use that. I won't record like this. Okay. I want to have all the sides just in case, because if there may be, you may want to repurpose the video without it just being vertical as well. Maybe you want to add it, or maybe you just want to put it out on YouTube or something like that. So that's why I don't do it. I don't do it just like this. Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to show you a few different ways to, let me turn off live demo mode, to create some reels. Okay. So the first step is to record locally in Ecamm. right? So that is the first step. Make sure you're zoomed all the way out. Try to get a wide enough lens where, you have a little breathing room at the top or bottom. Or move your camera back a little bit if you have to, okay? So that will be step one, okay? So the best practices, at least according to Instagram, they like 30 frames per second video. They like MP4 format as long as it's a H.264 codec, I believe. Doc, correct me if I'm wrong. But an MP4 container. But MOV works as well. So in Ecamm, you can adjust it if you want. So I'll just show you what my settings are because I know what Instagram accepts. They'll accept up to 30 frames per second. But I like my video in 24 frames per second. Okay. So the way you just check to see what it is, first you want to set it in your camera. Let's say you do want to use 30 frames per second. Make sure it's set in your camera. I believe that's correct, Doc. But yeah, make sure it's set in your camera first. Let me pop back into live demo mode. I should have just kept it on. Then go up to the menu bar, go to preferences, and then over to stream. Select 4K, of course. The stream frame rate is where I can't do it now because I'm actually streaming right now. But if you set it to 30 frames per second in your camera, and then you want to come in here, make sure this is 30 frames per second. It may not matter, but I would just do it just to be on the safe side. So yeah, high quality video mode, that's probably fine. And then you can change the file format to MOV and MP4. So I don't know if one is better than the other, but I like to record in MOV because I know it's it's Apple. It's Apple's proprietary format, and I like everything Apple, so I just keep it like that. So then I'll bring that into my software and then export out of that. I've done MOV, M4V, which is like their Apple's format for mobile devices. So I've done that. It was worked fine. I've done MP4 and it's all worked fine. I will say MOV, I believe, gives a bit of a higher quality video than the MP4, at least in my experience. Like when I will export both and then swipe back and forth to see which one is a little clearer, and then the MOV came out just a bit more clear. So I'll address a couple questions real quick. So the camera and lens. So I'm using right now a Canon R6. Relatively new to the camera. I've had it since last year, but I really just started using it within the past couple of weeks. So it's probably like my third or fourth time using it. I was a bit wary of the overheating issues that people have reported when recording in 4K on the device, like directly onto the memory card that would be in the camera, but it's mitigated by like a Ninja monitor, or I found that connecting it to the computer, using Ecamm Live, I haven't had any issues. I think I've gone as long as maybe an hour and 15 minutes streaming, and I haven't had any overheating. So I love it. I think it's cool. I really like it. So this is the Canon R6, and the lens is a Sigma 24mm f1.4 lens. All right. So how am I changing the orientation of the camera? So as you can see right here on the right hand side, in the camera effects panel, and you get to that by opening up Ecamm Live, going to window, and going down to camera effects. So this will pop up, camera effects panel, and then you have your green screen stuff, zoom and pan. So you can zoom in if you want, like this, move it around. Love that. The picture settings, love that. And then down here, you can mirror it, make it black and white. The interlay side, I still don't know what that is. Yeah, Doc, what is it? I don't know. And then rotate. So this is what I selected right here, rotate. So I mean, you could do this. It reduces the friction if you like. It's gonna keep it simple. You got a few reels to knock out, like boom, drop it in the iMovie and chop it up. You can definitely do that. So that's how I'm doing that. Let me see. Do I have a channel of my own? Yes. Yep. It's just Marshall Fox, or youtube.com/MarshallFox120. Why so many people are recommending 60 frames per second? I do not know. I don't know. Okay. Doc says it's a dope plugin, making recording landscape and editing portrait much easier if you have your spatial conform. Okay, y'all, definitely Wish I could pin that. I'm gonna have to check that out. Appreciate you for adding my channel. Cool. So, all right, we're gonna do a couple different cover a couple different ways. Okay. So the first way we're gonna edit our reels, and this is considering if you have your let's say you have your Zoom recording and you have your actual vertical video that you recorded separately. So I'm going to take a quick clip from one of my sessions and open up iMovie. Okay. Okay, yep, so we got some plugins for vertical video. Okay, de-interlace is for camcorders, digital folks, no need worry. Okay, cool. Perfect. And hello to Purple Paisley Planner. Good to see you. All right, so I have iMovie open, okay? So I'm going to pull up a couple quick clips, and I just grabbed it really quickly, literally 20 minutes ago. Oh, so give me 1 second here. And let me, yeah, I think this is fine. Oh, can y'all see my screen? Y'all see my screen? Everything on my screen? Let me just make sure. I think y'all can. So while I'm waiting for an answer there, I'm going to pull up these clips. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it. Okay. Yes, thanks for smashing the like button. Triple P. Thank you. All right, so, okay, so let me go here. EV clip from Ecamm. Okay, so now I have 2 clips. So I'm essentially going to drag them. Well, I'm going to drag one into the timeline. So this is on iMovie, y'all. So this is going to be the easy way to do like a quick reel, all right? So rather than dragging in my whole hour-long Zoom session, I just have a quick clip, all right? So this is going to be, I'm dragging this in right into iMovie. So essentially, I just opened up iMovie and I did new project. Okay, so let me just start over. So create new in iMovie, all right? So I'm going to drag it in. So this is what the Zoom session looks like. You know, when you're doing a screen record, a screen share inside of Zoom, and then we have our images up there in the corner. You probably can barely see them. Myself and the coaching client, Evie. Shout out to Evie Foster. She's amazing, web designer in Australia. So this is what we get with the recording in Zoom, right? This is what we get. So I'm just doing the screen share natively inside of Zoom. I don't like to overcomplicate it. I don't try to, do the most when it comes to Zoom coaching sessions with overlays and all of that. I just, share my screen and I just make sure whatever magic I want, leave that for Ecamm. Just hit recording Ecamm and I'm good. Like, we don't want to complicate things, right? So this is my Zoom recording, but I also have my recording from Ecamm. The thing is, y'all, it'll only be you shown. Like, your unless you do some type of interview mode situation, whoever you're on the session with on Zoom or whatever, there you won't have that video in Ecamm. Okay, you won't have that video or that audio in Ecamm. All right, so just keep that in mind. But you won't need it. But I'll show you what I do. Okay. So I'm going to drag this clip on top of it, and so ideally you maybe want to clap at the beginning of it, or maybe before the person hops on, just so you can get the waveforms, so you can sync it up. I don't know if there's an easy way to sync up the audio in Ecamm. But you know what? Before I even do that, y'all, I'm in iMovie. Before I even do that, I'm gonna show you. We're gonna dumb it down even lower, just to cover the basics. All right. So let's just say I want to have my Ecamm recording in here. So I'm gonna drag this in here, right? So this is my recording. So in order to turn this into a vertical video, it's a little ghetto fabulous, but stick with me, all right? So I'm going to go up here to crop, and I'm going to rotate it. Okay, I'm going to rotate it, and then I'm going to do crop to fill. Okay, so I'm going to do crop to fill. Okay, boom. So this is how you rotate it. So just I'm going to show you that again. So you hit crop up here, and then you could go ahead and rotate it, and then do crop to fill and adjust this framing, and then hit the little check button. Okay, and now you have it. So what you could do is just do it like this, and then go ahead and, let's say you want to chop it, go ahead and make your cuts. So it's Command B. You know, let's say I wanted to chop out some dead space here. So let's say you have, like several different different clips, and what you could do is, edit it in landscape first, chop it up, and then rotate all the clips individually. But this will probably be a little faster by just rotating it and then chopping, But as you can see, like sometimes my head is out of the frame and stuff, so I may want to adjust them accordingly. So what I would likely do is like chop it again, maybe, and then adjust this framing for this clip. But that's why it's important to have your lens as wide as possible. So if you do move around a bit, then it won't be that much. It won't be that big of a deal, because your head won't be chopped off. But the thing is, the content is good, people won't really care about little stuff like that. All right. So so as you see, I moved it over a bit. I know this probably, you probably could actually follow my head, do some type of tracking and stuff based off of like the Ken Burns in here, but it's a lot more limited in iMovie than it is in something like Final Cut. Okay. So this is one way you could do it. And what you would do is export this file, right? Let's just export it as Ecamm test. Okay. Next, I'm just going to save it under as Ecamm test. So it's going to export this. So now I have my Ecamm test, right? So I'm going to open it up. Here it is, my big old face. And now I'm going to do edit, rotate left. Boom. And then file. I think I can just save it. I think I just save it up here. Let me see what happens if I just close it. Yeah, it'll just allow me to save it. So episode 2, Ecamm test rotated. Or I can just save it as the same thing, to be honest. Smaller file size, I would do greater compatibility down here. Okay, H.264. So let me just pull up my comments real quick, y'all, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, okay, boom. Okay, got my comments up here. It doesn't matter if you crop off the head. Let's say this nigga's always popular. Better way to rotate the video left and right. I'm not sure what you mean. A better way. Well, this is the way to do it in Ecamm. Well, and do it in iMovie. That's probably the best way. Let me see here. Okay. All right, cool. So that's one way to do it. So you want to get a little fancy. Y'all, inside of iMovie first, y'all. So what I'm gonna do is I'll leave this clip here, right? And I'll add the other clip on top from Zoom. So I have my Zoom recording, and I essentially want to sync it up with my recording from Ecamm. So I'm just going to use the waveforms here, okay, to try to sync it up. So as you can see, these waveforms, when you zoom out, you can kind of tell. And there's a couple of different ways you can do it. What I tend to do, y'all, is use Zoom's audio. So I'll detach the audio, and even though the audio from the Ecamm local recording is a lot better, Zoom's is passable enough for social media. And why do I use Zoom's audio instead? Because, for example, when I'm talking and I'm doing these coaching sessions, and as I say things, the client will respond like, yeah, right. Cool, I get it, stuff like that. So when you hear that feedback, it just makes for a more pleasant listening experience for the viewer, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but when I'm clearly talking to somebody on the real, right? And I'll have little pauses. There's a conversation kind of going on, but all you hear is me, and it's just like a little silent. Even if you eliminate the silence and stuff, it still doesn't sound natural. It's fine, it's passable, but it doesn't sound natural. So I like to get the little response from the person. That's why I use Zoom's audio, because it's recording her as well, right? So I don't even think I have my system audio installed, y'all, inside of Ecamm. But let's see if it'll work for us. Let me see. Let me know if y'all can hear this. Okay. It just trains people. Did y'all hear that? I said it just trains people, so it just trains. Let me try to line it up some. And if I can't get it perfect, I'll just remove one of them anyway. It just trains people. Like, so okay, I'm gonna go ahead and mute this audio on this clip. Okay, cool. It just trains people. Like when they land. All right, so it's not playing smoothly. It may be my yeah, it may be my MacBook, y'all. I guess it's struggling. This is the MacBook 14, but maybe I'm doing too much. Try to do Ecamm and the live demo mode, and you know what? Let me try to share my screen and see if that helps a bit, y'all. So let me hop out of live demo mode real quick. Let me come back to Ecamm. Options, live demo mode, and do the screen share. Let's see if it plays now. It may not. Doc says this part right here in Final Cut Pro, highlight both clips and press sync. Sip coffee and boom, it's done. Less than 5 seconds on M1 and M2. Get that $199 back in 3 for edits if you make $15 an hour. Yep, that's it. That's even quicker than what I did. What I typically do, to be honest. I might have to try that when we hop in there. That's quicker than the way I typically do it. Okay. I think I set mine up as like a multicam clip, if I'm not mistaken, when I do it. And I just switch angles. That's how I do it, Doc. So yeah, if that's faster, then I would love to do that. Because I like switching back and forth. Well, it really just depends. So I muted this below. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to select. We're going to get a little spicy with it, okay? So I'm going to select this clip. I'm going to rotate it again, okay, on top. Okay. And I'm going to, I don't know why it's not showing up. Okay, rotate it. So let's say I wanted to have the screen share on there or something, okay? So now I'm going to let me see, not crop to film. I'm going to select video overlay settings right here, okay? And then from cutaway, I'm going to do picture in picture, okay? So now I have a bit more control over this other screen. So let's say you wanted to show a bit of what you were talking about. You can do this and add this here, okay? You can also do split screen, which will split the screen. Then you can adjust these accordingly, I believe. Let me see. Yo, split screen, it splits it in half. So then I can go back to crop and then do crop to fill. That ain't right. Fit. Let me go back. Let me see if there's a way I can zoom into this. Oh, nope, that ain't it. Well, it looks like this is a bit limited unless there's something else that I'm missing. But it does split in half, so there's that. What I would do is do picture in picture, and then you can kind of move it around that way. Okay, so then you can export that. So at a minimum, you know how to bring it into iMovie, rotate it, export it out, right? Export it out, or you could use some type of iPhone software like InShot. There's one called Splice, I believe. And you can edit it there once you have your local recording inside of Ecamm. So what I'm going to do now is show you guys a little bit of Final Cut. So, like Doc said, you said deleted iMovie a long time ago. Cool. So I recommend, and this would be Doc's recommendation, Final Cut. Y'all, all right, let's keep it real. Okay. Let me change the scene. We invested in Ecamm. Why? Because we want the best, right? We want the best solution. We're worthy of the best, right? We invested in Ecamm. We in the Ecamm fam. We on Mac. I'm not saying we're better than anybody, right? But nobody's better than us, right? Nobody's better than the Ecamm fam. So I would recommend going ahead and grabbing Final Cut. Don't be intimidated by it. Yes, it is between $199 if you get it on education pricing and $299, right? But the thing is, y'all, you have so much more control. And they have templates. They have plugins. That's all I use, y'all. I use templates and plugins. I'll go and spend $100 on some templates and plugins if it's going to make my job easier. Okay. And I recommend Motion VFX. They have so many cool templates, y'all. It's ridiculous. So what I'm going to do, okay, Doc says, found a dope hack. I'll run InShot and Splice on my M1 Mac Mini and Mac Studio. Oh, that's dope because you can run mobile apps, right? Wow. You got me thinking, man, because I have the M1 Pro. Does it work on the M1 Pro? 14-inch. Let me know how to do it, man. That's cool. But yeah, so let's go ahead and fire up Final Cut so I can show y'all exactly what I do. But yeah, my recommendation is to invest in Final Cut. It's gonna make things super easy. It's just like all it is iMovie without limitations. That's what it is. It's very simple to use as long as you know how to navigate things. So I'm going to open it up here and let me switch my screen again. Okay. So let me close out of, not Ecamm. Oh my goodness. iMovie and open up Final Cut. Okay. M1 Max. So it will work on my lowly M1 Pro. Is that what you're saying? All right. So I have Final Cut Pro opened. Okay. So as you could tell, it looks very similar to iMovie. But what I'm going to do File, New. So you want to create a new library first. Okay. A new event and then a new project. So a new library. Okay. So what I typically do is throw all my footage that I want in this one particular product, in this one particular project inside of one folder. All right. And I usually do this on the external hard drive, but I don't want any smoke, today when we're running live on the internet. So I would just run everything locally on the computer. All right. But I usually do it on the external hard drive. This sucker right here, just so I can keep my storage to a minimum on my actual device. All right. Yes, Damon, go ahead and pull the trigger on Final Cut, y'all. Maybe we'll make a series out of it, but it will make your videos that much better just because it's so much that you can do. It's just so much you can do. So what I'll do is I'll go to, I'm creating a library. And what a library is, and y'all have to understand, I'm not like an expert or a whiz or a tech guy or really any of that. All I know how to do is follow tutorials and sit there until I figure stuff out. So I learned Final Cut. There's a course on Skillshare by Ali Abdal's, like Final Cut Pro. Just search Final Cut Pro on Skillshare. That's how I learned the basics of it. And the hardest thing out of all of it was remembering the order of how to set up a project. That was it. So all right, create my library, then my event, then my project. So once I got that workflow, then I was like, okay, it's easy. But I had to reference that course a few times before I got it. It became second nature. But now I pretty much just had the same library open and just use that all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my folder that has the clips. I'm just save it here. I'm going to just do, let's just say MCW, Marshall creates, I don't know where I got the W, with Ecamm, that's fine. Marshall creates with Ecamm library. I can spell library. So I'm gonna save it here. Okay. Now I do import media. So when I import the media, it's gonna create an event. Well, it's already we already have an event created. So within the library, they have an event created for today. So it's basically don't we won't get into the technical details of it. It's not that important. But now you can go ahead and import your media. So I'm gonna select my let me see. Users, Marshall, Dropbox. I gotta figure out where. Okay. Could be a little more intuitive, right? But I gotta find Ecamm. Marshall creates episode 2 clips. Okay, so I'm gonna just use these 2 clips. All right, so I'm gonna import these, and all the stuff on the right hand side, I just leave it. Leave the files in place. I just leave everything. Yeah, I just leave everything the way it is, y'all. So maybe screenshot this or something. Add to existing event. Boom. So these are some other libraries I have, other events that I have in here. So I'm just gonna add it to this existing event and import. All right, so now I have the 2 clips. So what I'm gonna do is do new project. So here is where you select vertical video. So it's already selected. Usually it's on like 4K or something, but go ahead and select vertical. Then do 1080 by 1920. This would be overkill. You don't need to do 2160 by 3840. The frame rate is 24p. That's fine. Yep. So I'm just gonna add a couple comments. So, yep, James, you're right. Your education pricing, you'll get the full suite of Final Cut Pro and Motion and Logic Pro. Yep, for the $199. Yo, if you do education pricing, they become lax on there. I'm not officially telling you to use that site to get it, but it's easy to do. But if you do any kind of homeschooling or anything like that, I think you kind of qualify. If not, you got to be like a teacher or a student or something like that. But you can hear from me. If you go on there and buy it, I don't think the cops would be knocking at your door. I'll just put it that way. I don't know if they do any kind of verification, but of course they run on the honor system. You know what I'm saying? Operate with integrity, all of that, yada yada yada. Okay, but yeah, you could save $100 by doing that. Okay. So 24p. Yeah, I'm gonna leave all of this the same. I feel like this should be Rec 709, but I'm gonna just leave it. Let me just change it. Let's see what happens if I change it. All right, ProRes 422. Okay. Okay. So Mr. Moderator said it first. Don't be freaked by the educational thing. They don't require documentation. We all teach, so we good. Boom, there you go. Boom. Okay. So if the feds come knocking at your door, just tell them that it was Mr. Moderator. It's like, nah, play. Okay, so now we good. So we have our clips up here in the viewer. Okay. So this is the project. Oh, I didn't even title it, so let's just call it quick clip. Right? Call it whatever. And I have my 2 clips. So I have myself, and then I have the Zoom session. So it doesn't matter really. Well, I'm gonna drag my my video onto the timeline first. I'm just gonna drag the whole clip. But typically, I won't get into the weeds. But if you had a really long clip, you would want to select the clips that you want from the clip. So like you would essentially hit I for in, and then at the end of your clip that you want to select, you would hit O for out. So I and then O, and then drag it right onto the timeline. Okay, but I'm just select this whole thing just because it's like 11 seconds or something. I think. Oh, why is it a minute long? Oh, you know what? This is the wrong clip, y'all. This is the wrong clip. But look, I'll still use it for this example. Okay. So yeah, I'll just select the whole thing. Command A. Hold on, y'all. See, I'm sure there's a shortcut. Okay. And I'm gonna hit O at the end. Drag this little thing. So I'm gonna drag the whole thing. So this is literally an hour-long clip. Okay. So now I'll drag the. You know what? I'm doing it wrong. Hold on, y'all. So I'll select both of these. So I selected this clip. And I'm going to hit shift and select this clip. So both of these clips are selected, the Zoom recording and the Ecamm recording. So now I'm going to do right click and then do new multicam clip. So this is what I typically do, new multicam clip. So multicam basically means it's two cameras, but you want them synced. You want the audio synced. So typically, let's say one camera may be recording audio from your event or whatever, and another camera will be recording audio from the event. And they can kind of pick up and say, okay, they said the word peanut butter at this time. Let's go ahead and sync both of these clips to when he said the word peanut butter or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So then that's how they sync the clips with whatever magic they use. So I'll just leave it untitled multicam clip. So it's synchronizing the angles. And the beauty of it is, y'all, the clips don't have to be the same length. I think I started the Zoom recording a little, like a minute and a half before I started the actual Ecamm recording, or vice versa. Okay. So now they are synced. So this is what I'll do, y'all. So I'm going to drag this onto the timeline. Okay. I'm going to drag it onto the timeline. And as you can see, this is the vertical project. But what I'll do is I will right click and then do active video angle, and I will change it to the Ecamm recording. So this is the active video angle. So as I play it, so as you can see, I'm using the Ecamm recording, but I have Evie's voice in it because I'm using Zoom's actual audio. You know, so now what I'll do is I'll go ahead on the right hand side on this panel. I don't even know what it's called. But I'll zoom in. I'm sorry I don't have all the technical words for this stuff, but it's just this panel right here. Under transform, I'll do scale all, and I'll zoom this sucker in like this. Okay. So this session was from about almost 3 months ago. So I clearly wasn't thinking to have to not have my actual video not zoomed in at all, because you can see I don't have any room above my head on this clip. So when I ended up repurposing clips from this, I just added an overlay on top of my video, and I can show you what that looks like real quick, just to kind of eliminate that, so it wouldn't be like weird black lines at the top and bottom, or it wouldn't be like this either, where, because you know, most of my hair would be in the notch, you know, on the iPhone, you know, and nobody wants to see anybody's face this big on Instagram. I'm not that rude. I wouldn't do that to you guys. So what I do is scale it down and then add an overlay on top. So let me show you when I posted a couple clips. I still have a lot of clips to post from this session. But this is what I did. So as you can see, I mitigated that by adding like this overlay at the top and bottom. And I'll show you how to do that real quick as well. You may be able to do it in Canva. It really just depends on the software that you use, but I use Affinity Designer. Okay, so that's where I do my overlays and stuff. So I actually just did this one for if I share my phone screen or anything like that. So what I'll do is I'll do File, New. And Affinity Designer, it's a professional software, but it's not expensive. I think it's like $100 or maybe even $50. So check out Affinity Designer. This is the primary software that I use. I have Photoshop and stuff like that, but I like Affinity because it's a bit more intuitive. It's like the Apple-esque version of Photoshop. So I'm going to do File, New, right? And I'm going to do 1080 by 1920. And we'll keep this quick. All right, so now I have this artboard. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I'm going to create a shape. You can probably do this in Keynote too, y'all, to be honest. And I'll just make it, let's just make it like orange in the spirit of Ecamm, right? Square at the top, square at the bottom, or rectangle, and then use this transparency tool to add some transparency there at the top, and then select the other one, transparency at the top, and boom. So now my video can fit in the middle. So I'll just export this out. So File, export. I'll make these a little shorter. So, and if I wanted a gradient, for example, I would use this gradient tool. And I know I'm going kind of quick, but I don't want to get, this isn't really a design lesson today. I'm just changing the color of this one side and this gradient. And I'll just Command J to duplicate it and rotate it and move it up here. Delete this other one. All right, so then I do File, Export. And now save this as a PNG because we want that transparency. And I want to save it in the same folder as the rest of the clips that I'm using. Okay, so I'll just say overlay, because like if you end up moving this whole project onto external hard drive, when it comes to opening it back up, it's going to have to locate all your clips and stuff again. So it's best to just have them inside of one folder. So now what I'll do is I'll hit this import button at the top left, this arrow, and then I'll select overlay. Pops up right here in my browser, and I'll drag it right on top here. Zoom in on the timeline. Okay, zoom in some more, and then extend it the entire way. So the good thing is, if you create something like that, let's say Keynote, Canva, whatever, no matter where you edit your video, let's say you use InShot or Splice on your iPhone, save it in your camera roll and just add it as a layer, so it works the same way. Okay, you can still see a little bit of the line at the bottom where the video ends, and that's fine, but I just wanted to show you quickly what I do. So that's how I would do it here. And you can switch back and forth between the angles as well. Let's say I wanted to cut it here, and then I'll do Command B to slice this clip. Just take a small clip from it, and then do active video angle. Right click, do active video angle, and switch back to the Zoom recording. So for this particular clip, it will show this, and then I can hover over this area and then zoom in here for the scale if I wanted to, you know. But there's so much you can do inside of Final Cut, because there's one clip, and I'll show y'all this real quick. On Instagram, let me see, I think it was this one, where I just had her video cropped, right? Evie's video cropped and floating. You know? So just really quickly, without getting too nerdy, I'll show you how to at least crop her video. So what I'll do in this case is, let me do Command Z to undo what I just did. Undo. So what I'll do is let's slice it again. I'll do edit. You know, let's do Command B to slice it. Command B to slice. I'll move it over, Command B to slice again. So what I'll do is Command C, and there's probably other shortcuts that I don't know. And I'll do Command V to paste. It's going to paste it side by side, but I'll drag it above. So now I have two of the same clips, but on one of them, on the one that's on top, right, I'm going to change the active video angle to Evie, to the one with her in it. So now this is on top. So this is essentially what we did, but I'm going to go ahead and crop this. Okay, so first, well, I'm going to select the crop tool under here. So it's on transform by default, but I'm going to go down to crop. So I'm going to crop it in the corner. Of course, you can zoom in to get a better view. Okay, so I'm gonna hit done. So now she's cropped. I'm gonna zoom back out. Fit. Okay, so now she's so small, right? But now I'm gonna go back here and select this clip, and then go to transform, and make it larger. Oops, I done flipped upside down, y'all. I'm sorry. And I don't even know how to fix it. Hold up. There she is. So let's just say I just wanted to have something like this. And of course I can scale it here. Move it over. So now, and I'm going to drop this audio out so I don't have like double audio, right? So if you just wanted to do something like that, you can do that as well. So how I had her move and stuff real quick. I know this is a bit more advanced, but I have a lot of different templates from Motion VFX, y'all. Check out Motion VFX if you use Final Cut. They have a lot of stuff. They aren't cheap though, okay? So if you rocking with Ecamm, you're not looking for the cheapest option, okay? So that's the frequency that we vibrate on, y'all, okay? That's the frequency that we vibrate on here. Not look, I can't speak for Ecamm, but at least me and my clients and with my coaching people in my coaching community, I teach them how to increase their self-worth, increase their value so they can appeal to high-paying clients, charge more, just add more value, because not everybody's looking for a deal or discount. Now, I have a snippet that I posted talking to Evie with that exact advice. So with that said, it's not the cheapest, right? But that's a good thing. That's a good thing, okay? motionvfx.com. You'll check them out. All their template packs run about $100, okay? So, but go to Final Cut Pro. No thanks. So they have different movements that you can purchase. A lot of different stuff on here. Collages, y'all. Let me just show y'all stories real quick. So just so y'all can see, you're gonna get excited, man. But I'm gonna scroll down and you can see some of the templates that they have. So when you record locally in Ecamm, you have your video looking great, looking amazing. And then you can grab something like this, add it in, and they have tutorials, so many tutorials available. But you just literally, and I'll show y'all a couple of mine real quick to show you how easy it is. Add a template to it, a plugin. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do, let me go to, so in order to get to your templates, once they're installed, and it's really easy to install, go over to, what is this? Titles and generators. Okay. So this is like your main, panel here, but go over to titles and generators. So this is like the different generators and stuff that I have. So I have one, Leno FX is another one, but I'll find like let me see, I'm trying to find movement for y'all. Animation toolkit. So this is from Leno FX. So it'll show you, like, as you scroll over it, it'll show you, and Doc says FX Factory. I'll have to check out FX Factory, Doc. Yeah, so I use the Leno FX as well. I'm definitely gonna check out FX Factory. But they have different movements. So y'all, this is the type of stuff. I don't know if you guys saw the ads that I did for Ecamm, like the add some boom to your zoom. The one I did last year. I use this type of stuff, y'all, and I'll sit there and figure it out. If I have an idea, I'll sit and figure it out. So I like the ones that says through, because they have in animations, they have out animations, and then they have through. So this one doesn't, but through means it just does it pretty much indefinitely. So let me go down to in behavior. Okay. So they're labeled. Right, so you can see all the different stuff that happens. So I tend to like the ones that are really simple. So I'll go down to through. Text animation, so through, for example. Backflip. So this one will do like backflips like the whole time. This one will bounce the whole time. So let's just use this one. So I'm going to drag it here. Okay, I'm going to drag it above this clip. So I don't want to bounce. I just want hers to bounce, right? Her screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this the entire length of this clip. It'll bounce probably a little slower. Yeah. So now it's pretty much, it's almost like it's floating, right? So now, so I won't bounce as well, because it's going to affect everything in the layers below it, right? I have the overlay on top of it, but it's going to affect all the layers below it. So I have the overlay on top of everything. But I'm gonna hit shift and click the clip of her, and then I'm gonna right click and do new compound clip. So it's essentially gonna smash these two clips together, so the movement will only affect her clip. So now I'm just gonna do, EV bouncing. So now only she will bounce. So when I come here and click play, she's gonna pop up randomly, of course. So that's how that works. So then I can export this out if I want this entire clip, which I'm not gonna do because this is the whole hour long coaching session. But what I'll do is go down to export. So you can set up these in advance. But I'll just go to regular export and go to settings, video audio. Make sure this is H.264, and then just hit next and export it out. Okay. So if you wanted to change it to an MP4, you have to go down to computer, under format, computer, and then H.264, choose faster encode or better quality. I don't really know the difference, to be honest. I mean, I'm assuming better quality is better quality, but I don't know. Like if you looked at both of the clips side by side, if you could tell the difference. So, but for me, the regular video and audio, H.264 for the codec, it works for me. Okay, and then save that out. So I'll show you another couple of reels that I haven't posted yet, but just so you can see what you can do. On reels, not posted. Okay. So that's a clip. I wasn't gonna play the whole thing, but once I started talking, I'm like, I don't want to cut it off and y'all wonder like, oh, what's the whole thing? Like, I don't want to leave y'all wondering. But even I'm gonna post this eventually. But as you can see, I use Final Cut. I did what we call masking to kind of like mask the edges to make it faded out a bit. I added a video bokeh background just to add some movement to the background and like my brand colors. And then I have this spinning thing. I just created this in Illustrator, brought it in and used one of those motion templates to have this thing spin, just like I just showed you. So as you can see, it's a lot that you can do, and I don't even use it a lot at all. Use all the features that are available within Final Cut, just like Ecamm. All we really talked about today is how to record locally in Ecamm, right? But it's such a huge part. It plays such a huge part in what you're able to do. So, yeah, hopefully this was helpful, y'all. If we want a part 2, maybe to show how to edit stuff from your on your phone, which I don't do, but I wouldn't mind doing that, then maybe we can schedule a part 2 for this and do that. The thing is, like, if you go ahead and slice up your video, like you recorded in Ecamm locally, then slice up your video on the computer, export it out, airdrop it to your phone, and maybe use something like Splice or maybe even like Lyft Stories. I see a lot of different ads for software that can do stuff with stories on your phone. You have half the battle. You won already by editing on your computer, but just chopping up your clips and exporting that out. So yeah, hopefully this helps y'all. This is exactly how I do my stories. And Ecamm, like I say every week, is at the center of it all. It just makes it so much easier by getting some professional video and then using that to edit as opposed to just doing stuff on your phone. But I will say, like, don't let it pose friction. Like, don't complicate it, y'all. Don't complicate it. if stuff, if doing it like this is intimidating to you, then just use your phone. You know what I'm saying? Use your phone. But if you want to level up a bit and just stand out, doing this can easily make you stand out. As you can see, like, and I just started using Reels not too long ago, but for some reason, my numbers are pretty good on the Reels. I think my highest one got 12.3 thousand views. We got 7,000, 4,000, 5,000, 5,000. I like to think it's because I use Ecamm. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just the energy. Maybe it's just the energy. I don't know, but we had an advantage, y'all, by using Ecamm Live. So use it, okay? Use it. Now it's now or never, y'all. Especially as we're going into this recession, we want to continue to show up and show out, right? We want to separate ourselves, and Ecamm makes it very easy to separate yourself. Especially just being in the community. It ain't even really about the software. It's about the community. It's about the knowledge that we have here. We help each other out. There's no answer that we can't is nothing we can't figure out together. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, do we have any questions, y'all? I'm gonna scroll back a bit and see if we have anything. Cool. Hopefully it's helpful. I know we were doing a lot, y'all. It's more than twice as fast as an HEVC. Okay, I guess that was for the exporting. Pastor Felicia, it's good to see you. I appreciate you for turning in. Okay, so Doc says not to use H.264 on an M1 or M2. A new Apple Silicon has built-in HEVC H.265 accelerators, and they are fast, and you get way smaller files and looks dope. Okay. Yeah, definitely let me know where to find that HEVC H.265 because I do not know. All right, see, I told y'all, look, I'm not an expert, okay? But I don't let that stop me from what I want to do, okay? It's all about intention and expectation, as Myron Golden says. Set the intention and then have expectation that it's going to work, okay? Definitely, I'm going to check out FX Factory and Premium FX. Oh, y'all got me salivating. Okay, cool. So we can still got almost 30 people on here. All right, y'all got any last minute questions for me? I have a session in about 8 minutes. I got 8 minutes to spare, y'all, before I'm on to my next meeting. I got you teaching you is good for me making this course. Boom. There you go. So you're seeing the things you need to put into it because your boy ain't know nothing about no H.265. I mean, I heard of it, but I didn't see it pop up anywhere. You know, as I've been exporting Reels. So, Mr. Moderate says best way to learn Final Cut Pro is just to dive in to deep in and play. Yeah, just play around. Don't be intimidated, y'all, because the thing is, Apple makes it so simple, y'all. They make it so simple for folks, as opposed to something like Premiere, right? Adobe Premiere, like that's intimidating to me, right? And it's super powerful. I know a lot of people use it, but I'm like, okay, Apple, what y'all got for me? I don't even use Motion, but I don't have to because everything. And if y'all don't know, Motion is Apple's software that allows for a lot of motion graphics and stuff like that. But I don't even use that. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna stick with Final Cut. It does what I needed to do, more than enough. And I'm gonna use it. Okay, I'm gonna get my money's worth. Cool. Pastor Bleach says the whole package. Yes, it is. Triple P says I'm gonna watch on replay the parts you missed. I don't think you really missed that much. Hug the kids. Cool, y'all. I'll see y'all next week. Hope y'all have a phenomenal last couple days in the week. And yeah, I'll see y'all next week. All right, y'all.